I've been enjoying a little bit of a break. I played basketball for literally a year straight. I played like 82 games. I didn't miss a game from college to the pros, which is basically an entire NBA season. And I didn't really come out of many games either. So it was long, but I'm very fortunate and grateful. But I feel like I can just continue to improve. And
Caitlin Clark just talked about her back-to-back historic NCAA College season, followed straight by her record-breaking WNBA rookie season. She mentioned she played about 82 games and played mostly the entire game. But did she complain? Nope. She talked about how lucky she is to do what she loves.
I mean, continuing to improve, and I think that was one of the biggest things about my rookie year is I felt like there were still so many areas for me to get better in, and as a competitor, that excites you. That makes you want to get better. It drives you to get better.
On the other hand, we have A'ja Wilson, who didn't hold back, and her recent remarks are turning heads.
Coming back, like, do you feel like as like professional athletes, you guys have like the most like stressful, like strenuous, like careers?
Yeah, for sure.
She claims the WNBA has the toughest schedule in professional sports, and even doubled down by saying she'd take down NBA player Josh Hart in a one-on-one match. Yes, you heard that right. These bold declarations made during her appearance on the Roommates show have sent shockwaves through fans and commentators alike. While some are laughing it off, others are left scratching their heads, wondering, what's going on with A'ja Wilson?
A'ja Wilson loves to do two things. Two things. Play the victim and is completely delusional as well, I guess. She's petty, too.
But this isn't just about a few eye-catching sound bites. From her controversial takes on the WNBA's growth to an eyebrow-raising leak from so-called insiders, Wilson has become the talk of the sports world. For all the wrong reasons. The backlash is real, and it's growing. In today's video, we're unpacking A'ja's recent comments, the sharp contrast to how Caitlin Clark is reacting to it, and what this all means for the WNBA's future, its audience, and future up-and-comers in the league.
Gotta ask you a basketball question.
Yeah.
I know that you work really hard in the off-season. You said yesterday you're always trying to get better. What's the thing that you're working on in this off-season?
I think, honestly, besides the actual basketball skill part of it, I think getting stronger, that's what I'm focusing on. I'm in the weight room a lot, just building that strength. Obviously, it was hard going right from the college season to the professional season. You don't get to spend a lot of time in the weight room, so that's what I've tried to focus on the most here. And then obviously, a lot of things on the court. I'm always wanting to get better, and that's kind of what drives me, and I love it. I love getting to do it, and I feel very fortunate that it's my job.
Let's start with Caitlin Clark as she outlines her off-season priorities. As Caitlin Clark wraps up her record-breaking rookie season, she's already gearing up for what's next. Skipping the new 3-on-3 league, Unrivaled, Clark explained, "I didn't rule out doing it in the future, but this year is just not the best for me," she says, hinting at bigger plans for her off-season. Clark's game plan? It's all about getting stronger and sharper. She's hitting the gym hard, focusing on building the physicality needed to dominate in her sophomore year. But there's more to her strategy than just strength training. Clark's bringing back a hidden weapon, her mid-range game. "I used to have a midi bag, I just never had to use it," Clark revealed. Now, she's determined to add this crucial piece to her offensive arsenal. It's a smart move that could make her even more effective on the court. Clark knows her biggest challenge is the physical defense teams throw at her. Team's #1 tactic of stopping me is be physical with her, she admitted. To counter this, she's preparing both mentally and physically to handle the pressure.
I feel like basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast. And then I came here and was trying to give everything I could to this team and kind of move on and put all that behind me and help this team, get back to the playoffs. So I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that and reflecting back.
As Clark balances rest with training, her focus is clear. She's not just maintaining her skills, but actively working to expand her game, with her sights set on building strength, refining her mid-range shot, and adapting to physical play. Clark is laying the groundwork for an even more impressive sophomore season.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
Smart history for the FIBA rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
Now let's compare this to A'ja Wilson's boldest statement yet. The WNBA has the toughest schedule in professional sports, tougher than the NBA, NHL, MLB, or even the NFL, according to her. Speaking on the Roommates show, Wilson described the WNBA season as an intense grind, claiming it surpasses the challenges faced in other leagues. To be fair, she does have a point about certain aspects of the transition to professional basketball. WNBA rookies face a whirlwind schedule, going straight from the NCAA championships to the draft with barely any time to catch their breath, especially if they're coming off a deep March Madness run. No combines, no lengthy adjustment periods. Training camp begins almost immediately, but does that really put the WNBA schedule ahead of leagues with significantly more games, grueling travel, and tougher physical demands?
Because I feel like for us, like, we don't have, our rookie orientation is not like anything too crazy. It's literally like, obviously like a day before the draft and you're sitting there and you're talking, but it's like, we don't get to go work out for teams. We don't have a combine. Like, you're going, and it's insane. So yeah, I would have to say our schedule is pretty crazy.
Let's break it down. The WNBA season features 40 games. Meanwhile, MLB players slog through a staggering 162 games, sometimes with double headers. The NBA's and NHL's 82-game schedule are notorious for relentless back-to-backs and exhausting cross-country travel. And let's not forget the NFL, where athletes endure weekly collisions over 17 intense games. Compared to these, the WNBA's compact season, with fewer games and less travel, seems relatively manageable.
What about the actual NBA? And I understand a lot of them superstars are load managing, but there's still 82 games there. How many games did they just play? 40. Not counting the playoffs, but I mean, Major League Baseball players do 162, not counting the playoffs. It's so disrespectful to other sports.
Fans weren't shy about sharing their thoughts. One person wrote, 40 games is tough. Imagine an 82-game season where you're flying coast to coast every week. Another joked, if the WNBA schedule is the hardest, what's MLB? A vacation? The backlash poured in, with many fans questioning how an MVP could seem so out of touch with the realities of other professional sports.
She's got to be the world heavyweight champion. Hey, you are a champion. World heavyweight champion of being petty, delusional, and playing the victim. Really? You're complaining about the rookie transition. So disrespectful to MLB athletes. I mean, honestly, it's wild. Didn't know the WNBA had an 82-game schedule. They literally play only 4 months a year.
What made her claim even more baffling was the missed opportunity. Wilson has the perfect platform to uplift the WNBA, emphasizing its strengths and unique challenges. But instead, her comments came across as tone-deaf complaints, inadvertently making the league seem less appealing to casual fans. In a time when the WNBA is striving to grow its audience and gain respect, such remarks are far from helpful. Still, if you thought that was the most jaw-dropping moment from her interview, think again. Wilson also declared she could beat NBA player Josh Hart in a one-on-one game. And let's just say, the internet had a field day with that one.
I feel like the score would be like 8-11. Me.
It's not that bad.
I get ball first.
You get ball first.
She does get ball first.
Not gonna get it back.
First.
And you but that's gonna be your time. Like, that's gonna be your period, which is fine. I'm not saying you're gonna go scoreless, but 8-11, I feel like it's pretty solid.
A'ja Wilson didn't just claim she could beat NBA player Josh Hart in a one-on-one matchup. She even predicted the final score, 11-8 in her favor. Let's take a moment to process that. Confidence is crucial for any athlete, but there's a delicate line between healthy self-belief and outright overconfidence. Wilson's statement didn't just step over that line, it leaped across it.
So what do you think it'll be, Josh? Don't piss me off. Do not piss me off.
Josh Hart, known in the NBA for his tenacious defense and relentless hustle, took the high road in his response. His playful and composed reaction on the podcast was enough to diffuse tension, but fans and analysts, they weren't so forgiving. Social media erupted with skepticism and humor. One fan tweeted, Hart could play her blindfolded and still win 11-0. The criticism was sharp, highlighting an uncomfortable truth, the massive disparity between the two leagues.
Like a good 11, probably like 11-7.
Okay, that's fair. You got 7? Okay.
No.
You
What do you mean?
Let's be honest. The physicality, speed, and skill sets required in the NBA and WNBA are worlds apart. Wilson's height, a key advantage in her league, would be neutralized against NBA players who are not only as tall but significantly faster and stronger. The idea of such a matchup being competitive is simply unrealistic.
Let's be honest. 11-0. You can give her the ball first, you can block her shot, you can grab the rebound, and then you can dunk it on her 11 times. Unless this has some rule where you have to shoot threes and you can't shoot anything inside of 22 feet, if Josh Hart plays a one-on-one game against Asia Wilson, straight up, regular one-on-one, he would absolutely annihilate her. It'll be 11-0.
And just when it seemed like Wilson's comments couldn't get more controversial, her next move, critiquing the WNBA's rising popularity, added even more fuel to the fire. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
This is the time, like we're in the season of women's basketball, and it was so much fun to just like, it was aggravating, I'm not gonna lie, it was super annoying sometimes because you're constantly, you feel like you have to like reprove yourself. And like you feel like you have to like go out and be like, no, this is what y'all been missing. And it kind of took away the fun of the game because you felt like you had to like defend yourself and like defend who you are as a player like every single game.
You'd think someone as prominent as Asia Wilson would be thrilled about the WNBA's growing popularity. After all, the league is finally gaining traction, viewership is up, and rising stars like Caitlin Clark are poised to push the game even further into the spotlight. But Wilson's recent remarks suggest otherwise. During the same interview, she referred to the WNBA's increased attention as super annoying. Yes, you heard that right. A league that has battled for decades to earn respect and visibility is now a source of frustration for one of its most celebrated players. Naturally, fans were stunned.
I don't know. You guys are, no, you're like, y'all really, really toxic. I don't think we're that toxic. I think we're pettier. Like, we're petty, for sure.
Social media exploded. Does she want the WNBA to grow, or does she want to stay in the spotlight alone? One fan asked. Another tweeted, "She campaigned for this and now it's annoying. Make it make sense." The backlash wasn't just about her words. It highlighted a growing disconnect between Wilson's comments and the league's overarching goals.
Finally giving us like what's been due for, obviously, in our eyes, 28 years.
The irony is hard to overlook. On one hand, she emphasizes how hard WNBA players work and demand respect. On the other, she dismisses the respect that comes with more attention and scrutiny. It's a contradiction that's tough to reconcile.
Before Caitlin Clark, this was the face of the WNBA. No wonder all the ratings and the viewers showed up after Caitlin Clark got involved. This ain't it. This ain't it. I mean, that's delusional on a whole nother level.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to shine by doing the exact opposite. She embraces the spotlight, using it to champion the game and connect with fans. The contrast couldn't be starker. Where Wilson sees a burden, Clark sees an opportunity.
The amount of people that have showed up in the stadiums, from the viewership numbers to people really wanting to wear a WNBA player's jersey or buy their merch or whatever it is, or have their shoe. Just how it's evolved in such a short period of time, I think shows everyone, there is real opportunity here and there.
Wilson's comments are more than just frustrating. They represent a missed chance to rally behind the league at a crucial moment. With more eyes on women's basketball than ever, the WNBA needs its stars to project unity and pride, not discontent. And yet, Wilson's criticism of the league's growth wasn't even the week's most contentious moment. That came with reports of her rejecting a lucrative offer from Unrivaled, a brand new 3-on-3 basketball league that had hoped to secure her as one of its marquee stars.
Also, Asia Wilson is not playing in Unrivaled, much like Caitlin Clark's not. But there's been a story surfaced by way of Sports Business Journal that is baffling, and it is getting absolutely crushed right now because nobody believes it.
But this wasn't a typical contract negotiation. Instead of quietly declining the deal as Caitlin Clark had, Wilson's camp reportedly leaked details that her offer was even bigger than Clark's. The timing of this leak couldn't have been more conspicuous. Clark had just earned widespread praise for turning down a historic $1 million contract, citing her focus on rest and career longevity. Hours later, Wilson's team made sure everyone knew her offer was larger. and that she declined it too.
Did you see how many people showed up to watch Caitlin Clark play golf? With actual attention economics at play, Caitlin's participation in any league has an existential bearing. Nobody outside of Asia herself cares about whether Asia shows up.
Fans didn't hesitate to call it out. Clark said no and moved on. Why does Asia need everyone to know? Feels desperate, one user posted. Another chimed in, this is main character syndrome at its finest. The reactions reflected more than just frustration with the leak. They highlighted growing resentment toward Wilson's perceived need to dominate every narrative. Worse, the move backfired spectacularly. By emphasizing that her offer surpassed Clark's, Wilson inadvertently shifted the spotlight away from her own achievements and onto her privilege, a recurring theme that continues to alienate fans.
That's crazy because literally nobody asked, and sources close to Asia Wilson decided to answer anyway.
Clark's quiet rejection, in contrast, further cemented the divide between the two players. Where Clark appears humble and grounded, Wilson's actions often come across as calculated attempts to grab headlines, regardless of the backlash. For Unrivaled, the fallout was a disaster. The league had hoped to launch with two of the biggest names in women's basketball, only to see both walk away, albeit in very different ways. Clark's decision boosted her reputation as a relatable, level-headed leader. Wilson's approach, meanwhile, left fans questioning her motives and the league's ability to attract talent without unnecessary drama.
The more people can get out and watch the W or watch the college game or whatever it is, the better it's going to be for the future of the game.
While Wilson finds herself mired in controversy, Caitlin Clark is steadily emerging as the face of women's basketball, and for all the right reasons. From her record-breaking college career to her professional debut, Clark has captivated fans with her talent, humility, and unwavering focus. Her decision to reject Unrivaled's offer wasn't about making headlines, but about prioritizing rest, development, and long-term success. Fans applauded her for staying grounded, with one tweeting, "Caitlin Clark just understands the assignment. She's focused on her game, not the fame." Another added, "She's not just a star player, she's a role model."
I think the thing about leadership is like how you approach every single person is going to be completely different. And I think the thing that's helped me be successful throughout my career has been the relationships that I've been able to build with people, and every single person you have to approach differently because they come from a different background, they come from a different place. Somebody can be a little more tenderhearted, and for me, I probably want to be screamed at. Like, it's just everybody's a little bit different. So I think that's what's unique about leadership and being able to understand people, but that takes time, and building relationships is really important. And
This stark contrast between Clark and Wilson speaks volumes. Where Wilson seems intent on courting controversy, Clark uses her platform to promote the sport and inspire future players. She recognizes the power of her influence and channels it into building a stronger foundation for women's basketball. Her rise represents a shift in leadership, one defined by humility, vision, and collaboration.
that's the reason that you play. It's not because of the wins and the points you score. It's the amount of joy that you can bring people and the young girls that will one day grow up to hopefully, be whatever they want to be and get to talk about those moments too.
The WNBA is entering a critical era, and its future depends on players who understand the importance of unity and growth. Caitlin Clark exemplifies these qualities, setting a new standard for what leadership in the sport should look like. Wilson's talent is undeniable, but unless her actions align with the league's goals, she risks alienating an audience that's crucial to its success. As women's basketball evolves, these two narratives present a pivotal question. Which approach will shape the WNBA's future? Asia Wilson's headline-grabbing controversies or Caitlin Clark's focused, uplifting leadership? For fans, the answer seems clear, and it's Caitlin Clark's path that resonates. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.